kick that off whenever. You good?
Yeah.
Good evening. How's everybody doing tonight? Woo! All right. Welcome to A2 New Tech. I'm Brian Kelly, your monthly host at this fine event. Since 2009, this has existed. We have had over 100 meetups, over 300 companies have pitched, and we're over 5,000 members. So thank you all for coming out. Who's a first-timer this evening? Awesome. So it's with consistently 50%, give or take, new every time. Why is this important? Why do we do this? So I moved to Ann Arbor a little over 5 years ago, and this event was something that I was tracking even before I came here to say, you know what, there's more of an ecosystem here than a couple of interesting startups. And a couple of years later, I found myself hosting it. What I love about it and what I tell everyone is this is you have amazing developers, inventors, entrepreneurs here in Ann Arbor, and we're all hustling, heads down, doing our thing, but it's good to take a break, get together in the same physical space, meet each other, and if you do one thing this evening other than enjoy the pitches, meet one interesting person here and carry that network on. So there's a ton of events that happen in Ann Arbor. If you go on Meetup, you can find a lot of them, and people will have an opportunity to plug their events after the pitches tonight. But yeah, you're doing the right thing by showing up here, and next time bring somebody along with you. A big thanks to a couple of our sponsors. So the Entrepreneurship Clinic at U of M Law School, Dana Thompson, she's here. She's been helping this happen giving us this great space to host from every month. A2 Geeks is a nonprofit dedicated to making Southeast Michigan and Ann Arbor a great place for geeks and creatives to live, work, and play. They help host events like this and other events like Coffee House Coders. Roger Rail, Roger down here in the front, donates his time every month to record this, live stream it, tweet it out if you can find the URL on the meetup page, and archive all of these. So, if you ever pitch or you're like, man, this pitch blew me away, like you can go on YouTube, search A2 New Tech, one word, and you can find any of the previous events. I don't do this alone. Doug Song down here, Zach Steinler, Scott, David, and all the other organizers. Thank you for helping both find the speakers and help us host this event every month. So here's our agenda. So this will run till about 8 p.m., a little before, plenty of time to chat with others afterward. We have 5 companies tonight. They're each going to give a pitch for 5 minutes, and then we'll have 5 minutes of audience questions and their answers. Following that, we'll have some time for community announcements, so think of those now. If you're hiring, who here is hiring? Throw up a hand. All right. Who's looking for a job? All right, talk to each other. So you'll have a chance to say what you're looking for, or who, from a hiring perspective, or if you're in the market, plug yourself. Don't be shy. We always make time for that at the end. Everything's welcome. After that, we always have a good contingent that makes their way over to Pizza House. If you haven't been there, it's 618 Church Street. Feel free to carry the conversation on there afterward. We always have this the third Tuesday of every month. You might have picked up on that. If you know someone, after seeing some pitches tonight, and you know somebody who might want to pitch or you want to pitch, email organizers@a2newtech.org. That'll get to me and the rest of the organizers. And best criteria, I'll say, is you have a product. It's not just a service company, but you primarily have a product, and you have some kind of customer validation. Ideally, they're giving you money. If they're just giving you their time, that's probably valid too. But make sure you've done some type of customer validation. That's kind of the filter to get through to pitch here. I like to recommend a podcast every month. I listen to a lot of podcasts. I'm doing even more now because I'm driving a lot. I'm going to throw a shout out to a local one that many of you might not know about. So the Spark CEO podcasts. They've already done 5 that have been published in 2017. So they're just interviews with either other local CEOs or influencers, and just a candid 15-minute conversation. So search for that. You can find that on Spark's website, AnnArborUSA.org. Also, we have the virtual version of connecting with each other here. We have Slack. If you go to madeina2.com, you should just go to that website. It's a great website. It tells you about a bunch of events around town. But madeina2.com/Slack will get you into our Slack. All right, phones, put them on mute. And if you're going to tweet, use hashtag A2NewTech. And let's kick off the pitches. So first up, I'm going to welcome Corey Washington. Corey is his company Vertexer, which actually pitched here just under a year ago. They're going to give a recap of where they are. The one-liner on them is good people connecting good people to great jobs. Take it away, Corey.
Well, thanks, Brian. I want to thank you all for coming out today. As Brian said, we were here about a year or so ago. At that point in time, Vertexer was just an idea. Now we're about ready to enter beta testing. So we'd like to tell you a little bit about the product and then show you some of our current build. When we say that Vertex is a smart way to hire, we think that because we believe in the future, almost all hiring is going to become through a method much like Vertex. Let me begin by asking you a question. How many of you have been asked whether you know someone would be good for a job? How many have recommended people for jobs? How many have gotten paid if a person is interviewed or hired? Fairly small percentage. Right? I think that should stop now. The fact is, companies are constantly asking people for referrals, and that's the most efficient way to hire. But the only people getting paid for this are professional recruiters. And you are opening up your social networks, you're giving your good judgment, and you should be incentivized for that. It's actually in companies' best interest to do that too, because more people will look out for them. That's what Vertexer tries to do. So on Vertexer, a company can post a job, say for developer in Ann Arbor, gets pushed out through the platform to anyone who signs up on the website, comes across your smart device, and if you know someone's good for the job, you type in their name and email. That person gets an email, and if they interview or get hired for the job, you get a headhunting fee. It's an open network in the sense that you can recommend people who are not on the platform, which allows it essentially reach across the globe. We incentivize connectors to make their best recommendations, so you can make 3 recommendations per job, and connectors are rated on the quality of the people they send in, how often people are interviewed, how often people are hired, and that encourages people to recommend their best candidates. We want to make this easy for you, so we're developing a matching algorithm whereby it will search through your contact list and match that against the job description and say that a certain number of people are good matches for the job, then you say yes or no as to whether they should be recommended. We think the value prop is pretty clear. For employers, you can increase the size and quality of your candidate pool. You can find people who are not actively looking for a job. You can find them quickly. And referrals are known to provide candidates who meet the needs and culture of companies better than other sources. For connectors, you'll get paid for what you're already doing. You can help your friends and other people who are talented find jobs. And you also test your power as a connector, find out whether you're a super connector or not. We're currently looking for investors, beta partners, and interns. And for beta partners, we offer the opportunity to be one of the first companies in the region to use the technology and have the opportunity to shape the platform. And with that, I'd like to show you a little bit about how Vertexer works. So if you sign up as a connector, you'll be taken to your dashboard. The dashboard is going to show you your pipeline. Effectively, you're acting as recruiters, so you can follow your candidates through the hiring process. You can look at your contacts. You can look at jobs that are currently on the platform. If you click on jobs, you'll see the jobs that are available. And right now, we're looking mostly for 2 interns for Vertexer. And we're offering a $250 hiring bounty and $25 for any candidate we interview. Click on the job details to find out what we're actually looking for. If you happen to know someone who's good for the job, you simply click recommend. So I will recommend Drew Trotter. Drew's our head of product development. He already has a job, but. Then I'll explain to Drew why I think this would be a great place to work. I'll explain how I'm connected to Drew. And I'll explain to the hiring manager why Drew is great. Right, explain how I'm connected to the company. And I'll send a message. Drew gets an email at this point.
So I've got the email from Corey here. And what I get is a message saying Corey Washington, who I presumably know, so it's a name I'm familiar with, so I'm automatically looking at the email now, has recommended me for the internship position at Vertexer. In the email, I get the full in the body, I get the full job description. I can scroll through, and then there's a call to action to say whether or not I'm interested in the job. If I say I'm not interested, then Corey can't bother me about this job anymore. I don't get updates on the job. I don't, the communication there is done. But if I say I'm interested, it'll take me to the job posting on the Vertexer site. If I'd like to apply, it'll ask me to sign up for Vertexer, which also enables me to become a connector just like Corey for other jobs. I can ask a question about the job, or I can just apply straight away. And when I click I'm interested in the job, it will show up in Corey's pipeline I'll show up as a candidate in Corey's pipeline that has expressed interest, so we can track my progress.
I follow Drew throughout the system, and when he gets interviewed or hired, I get compensated. Thank you for your time.
Kick us off with some questions right here.
Thanks. So what protects you from someone else doing exactly the same thing?
We have to grow very fast and very strong, because I think someone could actually do this fairly quickly. It's a fairly straightforward idea, and I think it's a good idea. So, to be honest, nothing right now, except the fact I think we know how to do this, and with other people aren't doing it. There are other companies out there doing this, and they actually haven't succeeded. I just think that they're approaching it incorrectly, and that's something that I think may be not obvious.
So you are the Uber of car sharing.
But the Uber recruiting, in part. In part Uber recruiting, but also I think a little bit differently, right? Uber is a commodity service. And I think anybody can drive, basically. The key thing about Vertexer is when a company gets a recommendation, they also get the recommender's CV. So they're essentially getting vetted by someone who's hopefully in the field and knows the candidate. So I say, look, what's your name?
Amit.
Amit. So look, Amit is in IT. He's had 5 years experience. He knows this person. He knows the field. I have extra reason to believe him. Also, I'm going to recommend all these other people, 8 of 10 have been hired. I'm going to listen to them especially closely. So it's really measuring your social capital, leveraging that to help assess the candidate. It's a vetting mechanism.
Thank you.
So let's say I'm a super connector, and I personally know the candidate, and I personally know the hiring manager. Why would I use Vertexer instead of just making the email introduction to the 2 people?
You can do that. What Vertexer does, it gives you the option to work with many, many companies very efficiently. And so we're trying to encourage people to scan the platform, because you will see lots of companies coming through here, right? Not just one company. Hopefully it'll be that way. We want to have, there's no cost to post a job on Vertexer, right? So there's a very low barrier to adoption to be there. So hopefully a lot of companies will be coming across their desktop, give incentives to work with us, because we'll provide lots of opportunities. Uber drivers can see they cut deals with individual drivers, individual passengers, right? But they don't want to do that because they have lots of options in the platform.
What happens with the super connected, not the super connector? What if somebody has multiple referrals from different referees?
So you're allowed to refer multiple people you're asking if you look for multiple people for a given job or multiple people.
One person is referred by multiple people.
So that's interesting. That's actually something we want, right? Because if 5 different people are saying hire this one person, that's a pretty good signal. So here's our formula basically. They'll split the hiring pool if the person's hired. Each successive person will get half of the previous person's take. So in minimum, the first person gets a half of the take, right? And then it goes on down after that. But that's a signal that's important. You want to capture it.
Question about that?
Yeah, from a hiring manager's perspective, how does the cost of Vertexer compare to, say, LinkedIn?
Well, with Vertex, you set your own price. You pay nothing to post, you set your own price for hiring. Our view is these networks are latent, right? People making these referrals all the time. You inject some cash into these networks and you activate them. You decide how much activation you want to put into the network, right? If you're not getting a cash, you put more cash and more people are going to start paying attention to you. It's entirely the discretion of the hiring manager. LinkedIn, I think one of the key things about this is that it bakes in both computer judgment and human judgment, right? LinkedIn, if you've ever gotten job recommendations, many of them are very, very bad, right? They often don't capture what you do. Here you get a recommendation from us by the magic power, then you come and make a judgment after that. So it has, I think, a human element LinkedIn doesn't have, but also it's at the discretion of people. We want to allow the market to settle on the right price. How much energy you want to put in the network is your own choice.
I think you solve the chicken egg problem with this super connector and injection of cash. I think that's going to make the big difference. Is the cash piece, because it's difficult to grow networks otherwise, right? You got to have some incentive to become part of the system.
Exactly. Yeah, and I think you give people motivation.
Right. Right.
You already planned.
You said that the hiring managers will set the price. So how do you calculate the stake on like every hire that a hiring manager makes?
So our take, you asked what our take is? I'm sorry. Miss?
So how much do you charge the hiring manager?
We take 1/3 of what the hiring manager puts in. So they say they want to spend $5,000 total for the hire. We take 1/3 off the top. The 2/3 goes to the connectors.
What do you think is your exit?
We don't want it. Actually, this is the beginning. I have a lot of other ideas, a very similar kind of idea. I think there's a set of approaches. We go into this in detail, but like recruiting, I think it's just one thing that works like this. I mean, many other things work like this. So I have no immediate exit strategy. I want to go to the company.
All right. Good at timing. All right. Thanks. I'm going to help our next speaker get his presentation up here. I'm going to share laptops. Oh, yeah, I'll already share. I just want to get your presentation. All right, so this gentleman down here is Stuart Carlin. Stuart has a website called machinetools.com. Great URL. Machinetools.com connects buyers and sellers of new and used machinery across the globe. Fun fact about Corey. He, sorry, Stuart, yes. I wrote my notes wrong. So fun fact about Stuart, he has 5 kids, ranging in age from 6 months to 17 years. So he's somewhat busy.
I don't recommend that. Thanks a lot. Thanks for having me. It's great to be here. Just a little context. I've been coming to this meetup for pretty much over a year, really enjoying it. I also want to give a shout out to Ferris from iSwim Pro who introduced me. And, you know, I've actually been coming to this more as, you know, I'm interested in startups. I'm an avid angel investor, current angel investor, but I'm also a practicing entrepreneur. And after seeing how smart this group is for a year, I said, you know what, I should present my company to this group and see how it goes. And so here I am. Before I get into the presentation, mine's only a couple slides. I want to give some context on the company and make sure everyone knows what a machine tool is. A machine tool is an actual machine. It's a machine that works with metal. A lot of people don't know this, so I just want to make sure. And it could, you know, a machine that could cut metal, bend metal, grind metal, mill metal. Companies like General Motors use machine tools to make machines. Small machine shops in your town use machine tools to make parts. So machinetools.com, we're a global marketplace for new and used machine tools around the world. And I started the company back in 1999, before Facebook, well before Facebook, before the iPhone. And the model hasn't really changed since then, since 1999, which is really the same thing. We charge per listing, we charge for used machines. On the new machinery, we charge per lead, and it's an advertising model. And we do not charge any commission, which has turned out to be one of the best things we've ever decided to do. No commissions. And just a couple more things breaking into this is, before this company, in our industry, everyone did things locally, or they relied on the outdated print directories. So my company really transformed our industry, and really even more, I guess, why we really matter in the industry more than anything, and what I'm most proud of, is we've become the trusted marketplace in this whole industry in the world. So people actually come to our site and buy from someone from another country that they don't even know, and they purchase it just because they're listed on our site. So this is, just our home page. Just a quick screenshot of that. It's pretty easy. You can just find machine by type or brand, and once you get into there, it's very functional. You can filter by specifications and year and price. A lot of people post wanteds on our site that don't want to spend the time to search machines, and that's a really popular thing. So I feel free to look at our site at another time. I'm not going to spend too much time on the details of the site. There's a directory, industry directory. Some stats on our business. We've been around for 18 years, as I said. We have 300,000 registered users in 190 countries, so we're very global. Over 2 million users a year to our site, over 300,000 listings on our site. Something we just, a milestone just reached last week was we sent our 2 millionth lead, so we're very proud of that obviously as a company to send that many leads. And we have offices all around the world, US, China, India, Italy, and Mexico. And the reason we have those offices is because we have one person in each of those offices to do sales and customer service in those areas of the world. And we do trade shows around the world. Those people do the trade shows for us. So it's really key to have those people around the industry, around the world rather. What differentiates us? So when I started the company, and I had an angel investor at the time, my partner, there was 30 competitors. We actually had a big board of all the competitors, and they're pretty much all gone. And there's a lot of reasons. That could be a whole other presentation why they're all gone, but just a couple highlights is we chose to go one industry, machine tools, whereas almost all our competitors went horizontally to every industry. They're going to do a used site for construction and machine tools and healthcare equipment. We chose just machine tools, which allowed us to go deeper in that industry. I always said back in 2000, I want to go not a mile wide and an inch deep, but a mile deep. So we do new and used machines, which we're the only site in the world that does just those two together in our industry. We also have a global presence. From the beginning, our industry was very, I set the site up to have inches and different currencies, different languages, so we were very global from the start. Innovation is what keeps us growing, absolutely. That is what I pride myself on as a CEO. I'm absolutely an innovator. That's what I spend most of my time doing. And the past was new and used machinery. Now we're really focused on doing marketplaces in India and China, just those countries alone. They have a Machine Tools India and a Machine Tools China to take advantage of the growth there. And I was just there recently in India when really maybe kind of changed its priority to realize how many companies in India are only selling in India. And there's really not a site like ours doing what we're doing, so there's a big opportunity in both those countries. And in the future, we're going to get more into tooling, which is more the razor blades, where the machines are more the razors. Run out of timer, so I'm trying to go a little faster, sorry. But really, what I think our company is most successful for is our staffing culture. I mean, and it is just absolutely true. We've had people working here for 17 years. The average of my 18 people have been here 8 years plus. We all work from home except me, actually, because I have 5 kids. I'm the only one that doesn't work from home. We have unlimited vacation time. We have flexible hours. We use Slack like crazy, and I'm a very accessible CEO. I talk to every one of my employees once a week, at least, sometimes every day, and very proud of the company. So, thank you.
I love having companies like this who can share some of their experience back. But who would ask some questions here for? Sure.
So you've been around for around 20 years, or since 1999, is that correct?
Yeah.
Like at the beginning, like you had the marketplace problem of having to attract two sides to the market there. What was your growth kind of back then? And you talked about India and China. How are you trying to get into those regions now?
Okay, well, so back then, how did it get to critical mass in the beginning? Sort of what you're asking. So what we did is, I said, hey, we're going to let all the machinery people in the industry do this for a whole year for free. So in 1999, the internet was just really starting to get bigger. We let everyone do this for free. We spent a lot of money marketing the site, did a lot of, still this day we did a lot of bartering with publications, got a lot of action, and after a year, they were like, wow, we really can get leads on the internet. So we started charging, and at least half stayed, and now most of them come back. So that was doing it free. India and China, we've had traffic from India and China since the beginning. I mean, India has been our biggest, it's probably our third biggest market, because everyone in India speaks English. So we already have a ton of people in India. When I went to the show last month, like 80% of the booths at the trade show knew who we were. So we already have a lot of recognition there. In China, we've been in Chinese for 7-8 years, so we have a lot of people know us. But we're going to have to hire some more people there and build it out like we did here. And so I hope I answered the question. Yeah.
What things have you done to help secure the brand recognition and to maintain, what you call the trust of the marketplace over these 18 years?
Well, one is we never get involved in any transaction whatsoever. So that's been huge. So we do not, we are completely listing fees, so we don't get involved. Another thing is we've never once done any kind of partnership with anyone in the industry. I mean, we've been approached by finance companies, dealers, send me your leads on this site, we'll pay you big money. So we've always stayed objective. That's the key, objectivity of our site. In just all these years, just the trust factor of being consistent with what we send, the leads, and never getting involved, never meddling, being transparent. It's built over time. Never doing anything bad to an employee or a customer. Okay. Because over time, it just builds up. So.
Very, very complicated to do the right thing.
Yeah, I mean, so.
Good.
Why are you here?
Like I said in the beginning, I thought, it's, I think it's a little unique. I'm sort of an angel investor and an entrepreneur, and I am very into this ecosystem. I actually live on the other side of town, but I can come to this for over here. I thought it would be a good opportunity to share my company and see if anyone has some ideas on how to grow my company, maybe after or now, or maybe meet somebody to hire. I don't know. A lot of reasons. Yeah.
So before you started, and it was a fee that was listing fees only. Were the other companies that are mostly just doing transaction-based
So why
models?
they failed them too?
Yeah.
I mean, that is the biggest reason. Is at least 30 companies raised big venture capital money, but they were all trying to change the industry. That was a big thing. They tried to take out the middleman, the dealer, and I came from being a dealer, so I.
Okay, I see.
You need to work with them with a new channel. We worked with them. We got all the machines. And no one wanted to even work with these people. But really, the other is you can't police commissions because this is a lead generation site. People aren't buying machines.
I see. Yeah.
It's lead generation. These are $100,000 machines. You can't rely on people to pay your commission when they're off doing the deal. So they just didn't have a deal. There's other reasons. That's the main.
Why not Europe?
Why not Europe?
Yeah.
Oh, we're in Europe.
Anywhere.
I mean, we're in 190 countries. I mean, we're in German and French and Italian. We have someone in Italy. What's that?
Oh, I must have missed it because you're talking about
Yeah.
China. Sorry.
No, India and China are going to have their own sites, machinetoolsindia.com, which will feed into the global site. But those countries on their own, well, actually, you can probably do that in Europe too, though. Quite honestly, that's right. Do like an MT Europe maybe, but we do a lot in Europe. All right.
So, is that typically, are your transaction international transactions?
Well, we don't do any transactions, so we have listings. So
Sure.
but 66% of our visitors and our users are international.
Okay.
And that's because a lot of manufacturing is not here. But we still have a third in the United States.
So, I am a user, and actually I come from machine tool industry, so I can relate to this. So I am a user. Let's say I am based in India and I do speak English. So I am in India. I want to buy a machine tool, and someone in Michigan is selling it. Is there any, or do you recommend any facilitator for the international transfer of the machines? Because I know between these two countries, import and export, that becomes a major concern.
Yeah, we have a resource directory with trading companies, riggers and trucking companies, and all the companies that you need to do that. But again, we don't work with them. We just have a database that you can use. So yes, we have all the companies that you can find.
So as a buyer, I can contact a third party who can do this.
Absolutely, but most of the time the seller knows these companies and knows how to help you, but the buyer can research and find their own companies if they want for free on our site.
All right, sorry, we're just out of time. Look, I'll still be around later to ask more questions. Thanks so much for. Lesson in that one is, you can never keep things too simple, and he clearly has done that well. So next up, I'd like to welcome Russell Schindler. You guys probably know this as the man from Traverse City. He runs TC New Tech, also up in Traverse. So if you're up there and you want to have a similar environment like this, hit him up. Russell has SampleServe.com. Which is an environmental spill prevention planning application. And we've been talking about getting him up here for a while to talk about this, so I'm excited to have him this evening.
All right, so as you heard, my name is Russell Schindler. I have a company called SampleServe.com, and we're going to roll out another product. The product we're going to roll out is called a Spill Prevention Control and Countermeasure Plan. A little bit of background, spills happen. This is a picture of a pipeline that leaked, and you can see the oil went down into a drainage ditch. All fluids flow downhill, so these drainage ditches usually end up flowing into a surface water somewhere. And these surface waters, I mean, you guys remember Marshall, Michigan, and the big controversy about the pipeline up at the Mackinac Bridge. In modern urban environments, they're full of utility conduits, they're full of trenches and stormwater ditches, and they all end up flowing into a surface water. not to worry, there are lots of rules and regulations that require facilities to have spill prevention plans, and here's a few of them. There are currently 640,000 facilities in the United States that are required by law to have an SPCC. So there's a good market out there, and this is all required by law. One of the things about a spill prevention control plan is they all have basic things. No matter what the requirement, which law you fall under, they all have basic things. Information about the people, their training, their qualifications, and their duties. The facility, you're going to have the type of tanks and what they hold. And then maintenance schedules, you're going to have to do inspections periodically. And then when in the event of a spill, you're going to have plans that are going to talk about what and where you're going to have your spill responses, like storm drains that you may have to block. These plans typically have to be, depending on the plan, have to be updated every 3 to 5 years. And the cost for these plans to be updated ranges from $3,000 to $10,000. I actually do these things. Stu right here, my partner is going to be, he does them too. The thing is, most of these plans, not most of these plans, all of these plans basically exist in 3-ring binders. There is no app right now for doing a spill prevention control and countermeasure plan. And these plans just sit on shelves and just basically collect dust. That's really the problem. So what we're talking about doing is taking these plans that are in 3-ring binders and making them into a functional mobile app. The app will have the same basic features, talking about the people, but it'll have all of their training and updates that are required, their qualifications, their duties. It'll have the facilities that can be updated. You can take pictures. It'll have the MSDs, right, for the chemicals that are stored there, and the schedules for the maintenance. The response activities, it will actually pull up Google Maps and tell you where the storm drains are at that have to be plugged in the event of a spill. And it'll also dictate, like if a lot of response equipment has to be maintenance and what those schedules are. Some advanced features that we'll do, once we get beyond the MVP, is maybe have some drone monitoring modules, personnel tracking so you can literally see where they're at, live virtual training so you can actually have a mock spill, and then a contractor version. So you'll have the facility version, and then there'll be response contractors that'll actually have their own version and they can match up and sync up. So how do we monetize? Like I said, there's 640,000 facilities, and so what we're talking about is like a monthly subscription. So you'll actually subscribe to us. It'll be $30 to $200 per month. Using an average of $800 a year at the $640,000, this is a $500 million market. If we just got 10% of that market, that's $50 million a year. So, and then what we would do is partner with selected engineering companies, and they'll get a cut of that revenue, and everyone's happy. So who's our competition right now? It's basically just Microsoft products, Excel, they type it up in Word in a 3-ring binder. There are some SPCC forms on Canvas, and there's a mobile or an app out there that basically is like similar to Canvas, where you have the forms that you can fill out. So what we're looking for is ideally somebody to partner with to help us develop this thing. We've actually kind of wireframed out already, but we need $100,000 to actually do the coding and all that. I'm a geologist, so I don't do code. And then we would use that for actually developing a web and mobile app, sales and marketing, and hopefully have this thing done in 6 months. Any questions? 15 seconds ahead of time.
That's very process oriented, and people are very attached to the processes that they have already in place. So the 3-ring binders and the status quo, people presumably love those. How do you plan to disrupt that?
Even worse than that is the EPA and the state regulators are really hooked on those 3-ring binders. So the app would actually be able to print out and spit out that 3-ring binder for those that are hooked on it.
Mm-hmm.
You'll take all that information and just hit print, and it'll print it out, and you just put it in a 3-ring binder. But I've had numerous conversations with EPA and state regulators, and they're like, yes. Because their objective is actually to have better response activities, right? Like, sure. They're not so stuck on the regulations that they want to see that 3-ring binder. They want a product that's actually going to help prevent spills, and in the event of a spill, make for a better response. Go ahead, right here.
Are you also tracking spills, the responses, all of this? That's something in your roadmap in the future?
Yeah, that would be kind of like past the MVP,
Yeah.
to where you can actually track and see where everybody's at,
Right.
literally. Put a drone in the air and literally
Yeah.
map a plume like it, on the surface water.
Awesome.
Go ahead.
You mentioned that you have Google Maps that would have locations of drains and things of that nature.
That's already a requirement in the 3-ring binder.
So are you still sending out people as part of the construction of your plan, or are
Yeah.
you automating that?
Yeah, so most of these facilities already have plans on paper, right? So you would just basically enter that same information into the app, and then it would become interactive. You would literally be able to go, okay, you go to this map, and they'll know where they're at, and update them. If there's some construction going on, or you've added some new facilities, you can update it at any time, and it becomes a live document.
You said in the beginning that these SPCCs need to be reinitialized every 3 to 5 years, and they're
Right.
upward of $5,000. But your subscription service has you charging anywhere up to $2,300 a year. How are you going to get that conversion of people going, where am I going to stop paying $5,000 every 3 years to $2,300?
Well, so with basically the price, so small facilities, the update is a lot less than a large facility. Like a refinery is going to be very complicated. So you would basically just take whatever they would normally get charged, divide by the number of months, and that's what the thing is. But the value actually becomes significantly higher, because now you have a document that everybody can share and update, and if there's some training that I need to have updated every year, it'll remind me that I have to have that training. And if I don't get the training, there'll be emails sent out to my supervisor saying, hey, Russ hasn't done the training that he's supposed to. So, go ahead.
What's your go-to-market going to be in terms of customer acquisition? Is it based on your prior company, or is some other relationship with the customer?
Well, I actually do these plans right now. So
Okay.
I could actually, when Stuart does them, I know dozens of people that do these plans on a daily basis, and they're chomping at the bit to have this thing. So they're literally like, yes, it would make our life easier, and it's instead of it being a every 3 years or every 5 years thing, it's like a monthly.
Mm-hmm.
So, go ahead.
Don't you charge by the hour?
To write these things up, yeah, typically. But I just shouldn't get paid to do nothing.
No, I meant, what about all the other people you're putting out of work?
That's the other 90% of the market, right?
All right, thank you. Moving right along. Next up we have Snapshot DNA. Terry Fortuna down here is going to tell us about Snapshot DNA, which is technology that integrates into merchants' platforms, providing one-click photo authentication to prevent fraud within online transactions, which increases trust between buyers and sellers. Fun fact, I got to know Terry a couple weeks ago. We started chatting about this, and he's been in law enforcement for a few decades. He's a special deputy in Oakland County Sheriff's Department since 2003. So that was a little bit of the origin, or of the origin of the application of some of this idea. Take it away, Terry.
Yeah, thank you, Brian. Brian wanted me to give a fun fact, and I thought we were supposed to do a fun fact, so I did my dog. He's a chow rot mix. He's got personality like crazy. But he's in doggy heaven, but he was a great dog. All right, let's get this snapshot. That was my fun fact. He was an awesome dog. Before I get to the photo app, we took the approach of from law enforcement. These are the agencies I worked for over 30 years, and I had the fortunate opportunity to do that. So we took the approach of this digital photo app as we're going to deter fraud, we're going to prevent crime, and we're going to relocate crime off your website through the use of this application. So keep that in mind when I go through this. Common beliefs that are no longer true are seeing is not believing anymore online. You have no idea what you're looking at online. It's just a fact. Everybody's photoshopping the bejesus out of everything, and you have no idea. A picture speaks 1,000 words. Yes, it's true, but they all could be lies. Okay? Photos cannot be trusted. It's the Wild West out there. It's absolute lawlessness, and our solution will solve this. Let me give you a few examples. In the e-marketplace and dating sites, okay, anything, outdated photos are presented as recent. Okay, so you're looking at a 10, 15-year-old photo. It makes for an interesting first date meeting, but it's fraud. And you can integrate Snapshot DNA into the website, and one-click authentication, you can know that. Photoshop, all photos on e-commerce sites. You have no idea what you're looking at. There's so much photoshopping about the condition, where it's at, GPS location, date and time. We solve all of that. This is a crime that's been occurring for the last 10, 15, 20 years, is too good to be true listings. And all this information is from all the big websites, okay? This one, I don't want to say who it is because I'm being videotaped and I want to keep confidentiality, but they, Air Jordans and iPhones, high-ticket cash items being listed and luring people offline to high crime areas and sticking a gun in their face and robbing them. It's been going on. It needs to stop. We can stop it with Snapshot DNA because they're listing false photos, and I'll explain why as we keep going. Online real estate sharing, fake inventory is a huge deal for HomeAway, Airbnb, all of that. We can stop that too. And law enforcement, of course. Law enforcement needs to deal with this too. Little antiquated, little dinosaurish, just the way government is. But this is a 100% foolproof solution. It eliminates all evidentiary hearings on photographs. We were tested in district and circuit court in cases. One of the judges in district court said, I've never seen this technology before, but it's ironclad. It's ironclad evidence. Please bring it forward. Please develop this so that we don't have to bear the responsibility of whether or not a photo is real or not, because it rests on the judge to determine the authenticity of the photo. Let me keep going. I gotta get this. Results of problem: lost revenue, increased costs, sacrificed reputations on websites. We do this by creating the first ever self-contained digital authenticating photo file. So when you take the picture, it seals it all in its own container and jams all the date, time, GPS coordinates, everything in the photo at the point that it's created. That's huge, POC, point of capture. You do whatever you want with that photo. You load it up on, we'll have lunch, on the machine tools. I mean, to know if you're buying a $100,000 piece of equipment, you'd like to know if it's in Beijing or Chongsu or whatever the heck it is. I'd like to know where it is. I'm not going to trust the buyer when I'm just searching. I'll let you just click on the photo and know. Okay. Technology is seamlessly integrated into the software solutions through our API. So we would just integrate it right with Stu, deal, and it would be seamless in his photo capture capabilities. Okay. Revenue is generated through a recurring annual licensing agreement. This is the new photo landscape. This needs to happen. It's ridiculous what's happening. Now we have the front end of this is a forward-facing, one-click authenticating photo file, photo. You can click on it, comes up with a mapping right next to it, shows right where the photo was taken, date, time, and on the back end, law enforcement can track the photo back to the subscriber. Okay, that's a key thing. It's a catch-22 now because we're changing the behavior in people's mind that they're seeing photos in a different way now. These are garbage. These are authentic. It exposes, if you use Snapshot DNA, you're saying, I want to have a trustworthy transaction with you. If you're not using it, I'm out of time. That's it. Trust. It's a new level of trust and safety. Looking for money, of course. Who isn't? I want relationships. You know people I don't know. You know somebody that I don't know. It's not all about the money. It's about the relationships. Thank you very much.
There'll be a question or two. Yes. I'll start up in the middle.
So stripping data from data is pretty commonplace. I mean, people can take a picture of a picture, and then any geolocation data is taken away from it at that point. How do you prevent that from happening?
You're saying you don't.
Picture to picture, I'm going to tell you straight up. You can take a picture to picture, but it sure shows up big time on the profile. It sure looks like it. Gloss, the way it looks, it's really grainy. It's going to be like, if somebody did do it, it's going to be less than, I don't know what percentage, but you're going to have. What we're trying to do is we're trying to nail it down. We're trying to get 90% of the bad actors out of it. I mean, it's, you got to make the first steps, but we can also track that photo picture and picture back from the data that we grab. So it's a good question. Picture to pictures, it's just one of those things. You can see it.
So image metadata has existed for years, and that can also.
I can't hear you.
Image metadata has existed for years, and that can also be faked. So what exactly does this do from happening?
Yeah, we don't use the metadata. We don't use the EXIF data. We create our own.
Is that?
We draw date and time from an outside time server. We don't pull it from the phone because the phone can be manipulated. We don't take the date and time from the phone. That's elementary.
Okay, so you host this. This is like a cloud service.
You tap through our API into yours. Oh, you mean the authentication?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes. But yeah, no, it's very sophisticated. We beta tested it at the sheriff's office for the last 2 years. We have a couple of very large law firms that use it for process serving and debt collection. They're regulated by the CFPB. If you want to ever want to be regulated, those people, they want to use this to deter and to show the CFPB, look at we know where all our process servers are. I mean, it really needs to happen. This needs to happen.
Are these images, are you going to be able to embed them into existing tools? Can you edit them, or can you view them in a browser? I mean,
yeah, you upload them to the profile pages, you can store them in a repository, you can do whatever you want. All we do is seal it.
is it not a proprietary image format?
Pardon?
Is it not a proprietary image format?
Oh no, we're proprietary. I got a portfolio, patent portfolio that's quite impressive. Yeah, we own this space of self-contained authenticated photo file.
But how can I open it in Chrome if it's
What do you
a
mean?
proprietary format?
No,
Can you open it in Chrome or?
Yeah, it's a regular file. It's a regular file. We can make it in whatever you want. JPEG, we can make it in whatever format you want. We can create it. That's the beauty of it. It has a lot of flexibility. It's very simple to integrate. This is not.
I think it works by like hashing the picture, and then they store the hash in the API. You use the hash
No,
to get.
no, sorry. I'm not knocking. You're good. I'm a cop, you know, so I'm not. You can embarrass me, you know. I mean, I could arrest you, but you can embarrass me. But no, I have to have charges. I'm just kidding. The hashing. This is the key behind our IP. No data is stored anywhere. None. There's not a comparative file. There's some people out there that are trying to do some things. They're storing a comparative photo. Good luck. Billions and billions of photos. You have to store, you have to worry about hacking. None of that. This is simple. It's really cool. It's really tricky.
Question down here.
I'm just wondering, where do you capture the initial data?
At the point of capture.
So it has to
when
be.
the photo's created, that's why we call it snapshot DNA. It's in the deal.
So the technology has to be in the camera, right? Or not?
No.
So where are you pulling?
Oh yeah, we read your camera makes a call to our API, and then we do our magic, and we give you a photo. Yeah. I can talk about it. I can send you. We can do a tech talk. I can get my guys. I'm not a developer, as you can tell.
Terry, what's the business model?
Well, we got about 8 companies in the funnel right now. I got about 3 law enforcement service providers, and I've got a company called Note Vault from California. They do facilities management, management software where you take pictures of they're doing pipelines or they're doing construction. We are appearing at the Merchant Risk Council. I'm talking for 45 minutes in Las Vegas where all the software solution, all the trust and safety heads of all the eBays and Itsy's and Zillows are in. So we're basically trying to get We're basically trying to get a foothold in law enforcement, insurance, and e-commerce. But we're starting first with law enforcement and e-commerce. And we're just, signing up one person after another. Once this gets out, it's going to be a competitive advantage to somebody. Like it could be a competitive advantage for you. You see it? Yeah.
All right. That's all the time I have for questions.
I can send you.
All right, you made it to the last pitch. So I'd like to welcome Sam Savant down. Sam has a company called TwoScoreTwo. They provide a blockchain technology platform for freight transportation that creates communities for shippers, carriers, and value-added service providers, enabling them to leverage scale, securely trade, eliminate low-value intermediaries, and deliver innovative consumer experiences. My fun fact about Sam. Sam's in Spark downtown, the incubator in town, and he quit his day job of working he was working in supply chain management for a while and said, you know what, I can build a better mousetrap. And I think that's awesome. So Sam, take it away.
All right, thank you. Thank you everyone for the opportunity. Thank you, Brian. And I also want to introduce Manuel. Manuel's a co-founder of TwoScoreTwo. So we started in 2016. We're a blockchain technology company, and that's the back-end piece of what we do. But on the front end, how we make our money is through two pieces. One is through the exciting world of freight transportation. We have a blockchain solution for that, and also through fintech, where we're doing financial transactions for our domain applications. So we're going to enter the world, fascinating world here of freight transportation. We've both been in freight transportation about 16 years now, and it's stuck in the last century. The business models are extremely old. If you look at this picture here, something which should really stand out is the influence intermediaries have over this entire space. And intermediaries are people like freight brokers. Some of the largest ones in the world today are like C.H. Robinson, Coyotes, those kinds of guys. Nothing wrong with them. They provide invaluable service, but today they hold a massive influence over the entire space. And because of that influence, you see issues where fleets, owner-operators, which are independent drivers, and shippers, you see the cost, you see the margins there are pretty anemic for all of them. They also create walls around the various entities where you're not really sharing information. So shippers really don't have control over what kind of, or what carrier, what fleet they should be using, and what cost they are paying. They're pretty much setting the rates, they're setting the capacity in the system. The other core issue which comes out is one of silos. You have fleets, shippers, all working within one company, within themselves. They're making decisions sometimes within departments. They're not even working across the entire company to say, how can we do transportation better? They're not leveraging scale between the various groups they could be working with. That causes massive issues. One of the issues it causes for the fleets especially is underutilization. So you have all these trucks which are going out there, and most of them are coming back empty. So they're spending dollars doing that. The third core issue which comes out of this is one of lack of, is actually of legacy technology. So we're still in the age of value-added networks, EDI, faxes, phone calls, paper documents being traded. All that leads to a very slow velocity of the transportation process. And given all that technology which is out there, there's been a lack of innovation which has happened. So customers who are looking for mobile apps, who are looking for applications where they can get visibility quickly to something which is happening in the system. They want to know where the freight is. They want to know when is it going to get there. That issue comes up and they're not getting that information. As a result of that, they spend a lot of money in holding inventory because they don't know when something is coming to them. So those are some of the core issues which are really out there. Our solution is to create a freight ecosystem. So what we are looking to do is create apps. These would be web apps and mobile apps for entities, groups, and communities. I want to expand that on a little bit. So we're looking at three types of ways of entering the market here. One is, let's take an example of a fleet. For a individual fleet, we want to offer them a solution which will help them operate better. So that will be helping them do their scheduling better, helping them say which driver, tractor, trailer should be running the slope, helping them find backhauls easier so that they reduce their underutilization, and applications like that. And once the second type of application we are looking at is for groups. So let's say I have one fleet, I'm able to then connect multiple other fleets to each other. So I can get applications like asset sharing going on in there. So we'll take this approach and we'll explore it for the entire network. So you get communities of groups of fleets, owner-operators, customers, shippers, all working together into communities. So you get trusted commerce happening between them without the need for intermediaries. So our real focus is on breaking the silos. It's on trading securely with each other, with trusted people, and increasing the margins. So that's what we're going to be able to do with these solutions. The opportunity is fairly big. It's an $800 billion market for freight transportation today. Shippers obviously are spending all of that $800 billion. We are looking at about 5,000 of them out of a total available 1 million guys. And similar stuff for the other two markets, other two sides of the market. From a competitive landscape, we are closer to where we take the entire process scope. So we do planning, we do execution, we do management, and we do analytics, as compared to some of the other guys which don't do the entire process. And of course, we're ecosystem, whereas others are single-sided. We're rushing a little bit here, I know. I'm going to go to the roadmap. So the issue always was chicken and egg. How we're doing that is we're focusing on one piece of the market at a time, and then we're going to connect them together, and then connect those groups together to form ecosystems. From a team point of view, there's myself, there's Manuel, we have Fred, who's not here today. We have a technology lead here. We're hiring a CTO. Our 2/3 of our team is going to be in India for the development piece, but we're hiring front-end developers here, Q2, and a delivery lead in Q3. So that's my show.
Questions for Sam?
Can you explain how blockchain fits into what you do?
Sorry, the way blockchain fits in is really the major way it fits in is from a chain of custody issue. So we're able to track products as they're moving through the transportation process, combine them with IoT, which gives us signals saying where that product is, and be able to write it securely onto the blockchain. We're not an intermediary, so it helps us. Blockchain helps us disintermediate the market and have person-to-person trading happen. We're also doing financial transactions on the blockchain, so people will be able to trade directly with each other without having to go through a third-party clearinghouse who's going to take a piece of the total cost.
Question, okay.
So blockchain actually seems like one of those good uses for this, because so many times people talk about blockchain and really all they need is a database, but because you have all these other intermediaries, it's a great fit. So have you looked at finding developers who already work in blockchain and develop something like a core for what you're doing to kind of jumpstart you?
Yeah, so we have, the blockchain today is really Bitcoin, Ethereum, and a few of the other variants which are out there. Most of those are open source, so we're using a Python version of Ethereum to work on that. So we're forking that and we're adding more functionality to that, what we need for supply chain.
So you're working with Ethereum?
In Python programming and C++. Go is the other favorite language out there.
I'll ask you a question. So obviously, since this is completely decentralized, you can't charge a transaction cost on the platform. So how are you initially going to make money? What are you providing of value above and beyond the platform?
So we're charging subscription. It'll be per driver per month. That's probably the best way to look at it. The value we are providing is more than just a blockchain. It's an actual front-end application which dispatchers and drivers can use to do their job better. So dispatchers are people who who say, what driver, tractor trailer should move something. And they'll be able to use that to do scheduling, to do route optimization, to be able to track the parts as they're moving through the supply chain, be able to do exception monitoring, those kinds of things. That is not really a blockchain application. That is purely in the front-end web app and purely in the front-end mobile app.
And another important part that you pointed out to me was that anyone could actually participate in this without using your service at all, right? You are providing everything to anyone. If they don't want these extra utilities, they can just go and use it for free, right? You have the source code to do it. How does that, remind me how that works?
So eventually at some point, once we get our platform stable, we're thinking about open sourcing the backend. So anyone can take our backend and build their own applications on top of it. So we have got interest from a couple of companies. One is in AgTech, the other one's in Connected Car, who are looking to use our platform to build their own domain-facing application on it. So we provide a bunch of services on our platform. So it's virtual currency transactions, a social network layer for community, assets moving on the blockchain, the data itself, like files, photos, things like that, and the IoT framework. We don't intend to be the hosted. We are not building a hosted blockchain platform. So if you want to run your node on your own data center, feel free. Our networking software algorithm will actually find, and you'll do node discovery using that and connect to each other. So I don't want to get into too much technology here, but that's how it works. You don't need to be hosted by us. We prefer you're not hosted by us because there's no reason why you should trust us, honestly.
Question later.
You mentioned this and I missed it. What's your revenue model?
It's a subscription model. So it's a subscription model.
Okay.
So different entities who are using our blockchain will be paying a subscription for a front-end application.
Sam, what's your ask?
I'm sorry?
What's your ask? If you were pitching to us
In
right
terms of
now.
dollars, we can take it off.
Or do you have any other requests looking for your hiring? It sounds like.
Yeah, we're hiring people and we're looking for contacts. So I don't want to talk funding.
No, I wouldn't ask that, but I mean, what would be on your short list, people-wise, I guess? But you did say CTO.
Yeah, we're looking for a CTO, we're looking for front-end developers, one actually, and delivery leads is important.
Okay, thanks. All right, that's it for the pitches tonight. Hope you guys all enjoyed it. Community announcement. So if you're hosting another meetup, if you're hiring, if you're looking for work, come on down here. Maybe line up along the wall here, and you can make your announcement to the group. All right, kick us off.
Hi, I'm Patrick. I organize the Ruby meetup here in Ann Arbor. We'll be meeting 1 week from tonight, and there will be a presentation on how to build command line apps with Ruby. You can find us on Meetup, or if you have any questions, you can just come talk to me.
Hi, my name's Henry. I just founded a new meetup called Power Users Show and Tell, and it's about the tools that you use, whatever it is that you do, and what it is that makes you so good at doing precisely that. So whether you're an Excel guru and you have some macros that can supercharge what you do, or you have a Chrome extension or a text editor plugin, we'd love to hear about it. The new group is called Power Users Show and Tell. We're on Meetup, and I'm currently talking with people at Spark. Hopefully we're going to be there in the next few weeks. Thank you.
Hi guys, I'm Brooke. I work for Arbor Networks, and for the 4 people that were here that were looking for a job, we have software engineer openings, QA engineer openings, but in particular my favorite team, don't tell anybody, is looking for a Python guru. So if you super love Python and you're looking for a job, whether you are more novice or more experienced, we have a nice salary range for either of those ends, and we can teach you how to work on a dev team. So that's primarily what I'm really looking for tonight. So.
Hi, my name is Chris, and I work for Venture for America. We are a national nonprofit that recruits and selects recent college grads that want to work at startups, learn what it takes to build a business, They're really ready to dig in on kind of any entry-level position, wide range of backgrounds from philosophy majors and liberal arts critical thinkers to software engineers. If you are a startup that's hiring that type of talent, talk to me. I'll write my email up on the board.
EFA is awesome. Recommended.
Put it as a comment on the website for today's
Yeah,
meeting.
Oh, one time wasn't enough. Come on.
As Brian mentioned earlier, I run a similar group up in Traverse City called TC New Tech, tcnewtech.org. So I'm just inviting everyone that pitched tonight, and Terry actually did a 1-minute pitch up in Traverse City back in December, and it was pretty good. Everyone that pitched tonight, I invite you to come up to Traverse City, because we actually have a lot of investors up there. So, and most importantly, free cocktails.
Hi, I'm Dave. Who are the people who are looking for jobs? Oh, good, nobody's hiding. So Brian earlier, he said that he wants startups here who have validation. And he said that the people in the audience are awesome entrepreneurs and developers. And so I work at Split. We've got validation. We have customers like Honda, Bosch, PG&E. We've got validation. We've got raised $1.3 million. We've won over $625,000 in prizes. We're looking for awesome engineers. Best part is you'll get to work with really smart people, so you'll get to be part of an awesome team that's growing like crazy. We have big, hairy, audacious goals that we need your help achieving. You'll get to work with these smart people, so you'll learn from them, they'll learn for you. It's gonna be a lot of fun. If you're interested, you wanna work with a modern tech stack, come see me. Oh.
Put a comment on the event.
You're up.
Yeah, tip to throw a comment just on the meetup group. That goes to everybody also.
Hi everyone, my name is Kush. Just moved back to the area after being in Las Vegas with a health and wellness startup for a couple of years. A friend and I are working on exploring the networking space and the event management space. So how can we make networking more fun, help group organizers and event organizers between events and leading up to events, as well as what are the pain points that people have managing their own networking across platforms and things like that. So we have a survey that we put together. I'll post the link on the event page as well as write it on the board. So I'd love to hear any thoughts that you guys have, or it'd be great if you could take the survey. Thanks.
My name is Marcus Sherman. I'm a PhD in bioinformatics and computational biology and a Python fanatic. But I realized that while good scientists can do great science with code, they tend to be what the term spaghetti code was invented for. And because of that, I realized that there's a disparity in the field. So I recently started a Python language immersion and education group through DCMB here at U of M. So this is actually a pitch for any of the local tech startups or life science groups. What I'm trying to do is get speakers or people that we can actually do informational meetups where coffee's on us, and we can get a more granular view of what industry's looking for as far as programming standards from a scientist perspective, so that we can better guide how we're focusing our training, and that way we can be a better, more sustainable resource or hiring resource coming out of school. So I'll put the information on the meetup page.
Cool. A few things to get out, so I'm going to go fast. So you can follow along, or afterwards I'll put it on the meetup page. First off, I run one of the other events for the A2 New Tech organization called A2 Brew Tech. So if you like beers and you like technology, we'll be having an event a couple weeks from now. It'll probably be a Monday, the day before Traverse City New Tech. So look for us on the A2 New Tech page. If you want to learn how to code, if you've been wanting to build a website for a long time, check out Coffee House Coders. We have a meetup tomorrow. We can help you learn how to code. If you're looking for a startup job, me and Mike run one of the biggest job boards now here in Ann Arbor called TrueJob. So it has a ton of startup jobs. Definitely check it out. And finally, I'm at the Tech Brewery, and we need more people at the Tech Brewery. Tech Brewery has been a great place that has grown a lot of great companies here in Ann Arbor, including Duo Security and many others. And it's a shared desk environment that can really help people grow into their startup. So if you have any questions about any of those things, I'll be in the back of the room. Thanks.
Hi everybody, my name is Jim Musial. I help
organize and run an organization called LE2M. We're here in downtown Ann Arbor. We meet the second Wednesday of every month from 11:30 to 1, and we do a lunch and learn with marketing professionals from the area to teach a lot of people marketing tips that you may need help with. A lot of you guys that are tech people don't have the time for marketing. We have the professionals there that can help you. This past month we had Google in to teach us about all the Google tools for small businesses. This month, or for March 8th, we have Ross Johnson from 3.7 Designs who will be there to talk about the do's and don'ts of website design. So if you need some help with your website, it'd be a great opportunity. I have some cards. I'll leave them down here on the desk, as well as I'll put our website on the board, and I'll put it on the meetup as well. So thanks.
Hi, I'm Larry Houston. I've recently joined a startup called Cogitai, which is founded by several professors in machine learning, including one out of U of M. We're small, stealth, well-funded. We're looking for a couple roles that we have several positions open. One is AI algorithms engineers, so people who have experience coding up AI algorithms. And the other one near and dear to my heart is platform engineering. We're building a large cloud-based machine learning platform for continuous learning. And if you're interested at all, please come talk to me. Thanks.
Hello, my name is Allison and I work at Disher, which is actually an engineering company, so we're a little bit less IT. And I'm not sure if this is the right place, but you never know who knows who, but we're actually looking for more talent engineers, so people who are going to do recruiting and talent management, culture management with customers in the Ann Arbor and Southeast Michigan area. We also have an office in Indy if you know anybody there. That's me, and I'll put some information about Disher on the link on the meetup page too for you guys. Thank you.
Hi everybody, my name is Amit. I have a startup company. It's called Asterisk Green Incorporated, and we work in industrial waste energy recovery and smart microgrid systems for recovering energy from different sites, solar, wind, all of that, and selling it to the grid. So we are intending to provide energy transactions. We had a very good year last year, and we were expecting a large customer order, which unfortunately got delayed. And now I am looking to sustain this company until the order actually comes in. So for that reason, I am looking for a day job for myself so that I can continue to sustain the organization, as well as I am doing some bench scale prototyping. For that, I need mechanical and electrical engineers, people particularly with experience with lab view programming or motors, electrical motors, AC, DC motors, or even software coding. And if anyone comes in and joins, they will be paid at the University of Michigan grad student hourly rates that will come from my own pocket. I'll put both of this information that I'm looking for a job and I'm providing the job on the A2 meetup. So thank you.
Hello everyone, my name is Ben Harrington. I work for Ann Arbor Spark, Liberty and Division Street. Many of you are familiar with us, and I know some of you. So tonight I'm here to talk about two things. So number one, real quick, we're looking for an intern for this summer, someone to help out with our incubator and accelerator operations, engage with client companies, and in general kind of help keep the place operating well. So if you know of anyone that's in college now or recent graduate or will be a recent graduate by that time, let me know. The position's also posted on our website too, so you can just direct them there. We have a few other positions as well open.
Paid or unpaid?
What's that?
Paid or unpaid?
Paid.
Whoa!
Yeah, I know, it's real.
That's fun.
Yeah, Brooke would know, the new Abbey. So there's that. The second thing is we're really excited about the overall level of activity around the connected and autonomous vehicles mobility space that's happening in our area. So one of the things we're doing to kind of help assist that is help launch a mobility and I guess connected autonomous cars meetup with some professors out of U of M. And this meetup's really sort of a place to just bring the conversation around these areas to. We want to kind of get the best and brightest people that are already having kind of these interactions and push them in the same room, just so to speak. So that's going to be, I think next month is the kickoff, but it's on the meetup page. Let's see what it's actually called. So the next one's going to be about using data science to improve mobility. And the overall group is A2 Mobility Tech on Meetup. So if you're interested in any of those areas, check it out. We'd love to have you. So thanks.
Hi everyone, I'm Syed. I work for a local startup called Core Innovations. We presented here, I think about a year or so ago. To make it very brief, we bring certain types of high volume court cases online so they can be handled completely online, such as traffic, parking, certain types of warrants. We're in 20 district courts in Michigan and Ohio. We are in the midst of fundraising among other local VCs and angels. We also have an offering on a site called netcapital.com. And I think we've raised so far about $62,000 on that. And there's about 20 days left in our round. If anybody's interested to look at us, we can invest as little as $100 in the company. And I'll be here if anybody wants to know more about the company. We also, once the funding comes in later in the summer, we'll be looking for software developers. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Doug. So 3 events coming up. Blockchain Fanatics here. Yeah. All right. There's a Michigan Ethereum meetup. I didn't even know this thing existed, but apparently the folks at TD Ameritrade over in the old Google space are holding an event tomorrow? Thursday, 6 o'clock. Food will be included, but if you know anything about Ethereum, it's blockchain technology, smart contracts. But one of the core developers, actually, of Ethereum will be there to talk about Golem, a distributed, what is it? The global open source decentralized supercomputer. Anyway, so that's happening tomorrow, Thursday, and then Friday we're hosting something at Duo Security called Nightlife Arcade. I don't even actually know what this is, but it's
somebody in charge knows what.
Yeah, it's
I went to the last one. It's was at Pillar Technologies downtown. It's just a cool play video games, come in, bring your friends. You don't have to be into tech, but you get to hang out in a cool tech space and meet other people and play some games. I think that's what Nightlife Arcade's all about.
Yeah.
The organization also teaches children how to code.
Oh yeah, Game Start School, or
Yep.
did I have that right?
It's part of it.
Yeah. I'm gonna get them to pitch here. They teach programming to kids.
Sounds like a great event.
Yeah.
So anyway, I think it's a fundraiser. They suggested $10 donation, but yeah, it's gonna be food and gaming.
Game Start School. Anyone with kids that are
What time then?
That is happening Friday at 6 p.m. at Duo Security. And then we have another event coming up. Actually, Chris from VFA, I know we had called out the premiere of Generation Startup that happened in Detroit, which hopefully some of you made. For those of you who didn't, have another chance to watch it at Duo on March 9th. So Thursday, March 9th at 6 p.m. we're hosting a screening of Generation Startup. It's free. We'll have movie, food, and all this stuff, refreshments. But yeah, check it out if you're interested in hearing the story of Venture for America and a bunch of interesting Detroit startups that went through all that. Come check it out. Thanks.
Hey guys.
Cool.
I know that there's a huge need for software engineers.
Your name?
Oh, I'm Jules. Nice to meet you guys. So I work for a company that makes HR tools. We are a company backed by Dan Gilbert, and we're looking for software engineers. So if you're interested, I'll just write my contact information. Oh, I'm terrible at this. The company is called Sift. One of our tools is, it's like a Google search that returns people. It's a directory for big companies. One of our clients is Quicken Loans. There's like 16 to 17,000 people that you can find, and you can find people by their skills, interests. It's a way of figure out more about somebody in a company. And it's as simple as just typing in a few words in a text box, just like Google. So if you're interested or have any questions or anything like that, just talk to me. And we'll see what can happen.
Cool. Thank you. All right, I told me I could do one more. This is another meetup. I'm always plugging more meetups.
This is actually on a completely separate note because of my position in DCMB here at U of M. I'm on the council to try to bring a PyData conference to Ann Arbor. So we're currently drumming up some interest, trying to figure out what the interest levels here. To bring the PyData conference here, we kind of, to go through PyData.
What is that?
PyData is, think of like a Comic-Con for anybody data science that uses Python, but it's not just limited to Python. But we bring, they bring enterprise, and if anybody works in Python, they know about the Jupyter project, like IPython notebooks, Jupyter notebooks, and so on and so forth. So we're just trying to figure out interest levels in the area, see if there's any enterprises that are using big data. Our first meetup is next week on the Jupyter ecosystem. It's we partner with TD Ameritrade. Spark is involved in it. We have some people on the committee from Continuum Analytics. It's another big distributor of Python packages. So that's next week on March 2nd from 6 to 7:30 at Ameritrade over on Division. So.
Well, and I only have one more meetup to plug. It's actually happening tonight. We won't have the scheduling conflict next month. At Spark East, does anyone know about Spark East in Ipsy? Really cool space. I got up there the first time about a month ago to go to the artificial intelligence meetup. So Adam is chief scientist at a company called DeepGram, or YC company based out on the West Coast, but he's based here and growing a team here. He created a great primer to AI, and he's got all kinds of stuff he's working on. Really dynamic, interesting speaker, like can fly at various altitudes and make it relevant to anyone who attends. So go check that out. Yeah, just look for, I think it's just Artificial Intelligence Meetup or Ann Arbor AI Meetup. That's it for our event tonight.
Okay, one more.
Doug's got one more, of course, to plug.
Is that happening?
I don't know when the next one is. The one this month is right now. So, but they're gonna schedule it so it doesn't conflict with this meetup next month.
So quick. So I went to a lunch today with Debbie Dingell, who's our congresswoman for the 12th district. At any rate, there's a lot that's going on. For those of you who are interested, it's something that we did at Duo most recently in light of all the stuff that's been going on with the immigration issues happening. The Michigan ACLU has a competitive workforce coalition, which has been put together to help preserve the Elliott Larson Civil Rights Act, which protects against discrimination based on religion, race, color, national origin, age, gender, among other classes, working to modernize that law to include protections against discrimination based on sexual orientation, gender identity, but also is working very hard specifically to oppose so-called religious freedom restoration acts, such as we saw in Indiana, right? If you remember, all that stuff happened with Salesforce working to pull out of Indiana. If it's something that, again, is important to you and your organization, let me know. I'd be happy to chat more about, again, what that looks like, because it is a big coalition of not just small companies like us, but big companies like GM and Ford and many others, Henry Ford Health System and so forth, that are working very hard to ensure that, again, we protect the rights of everyone here. Thank you.
Our next meetup is Tuesday, March 21st. I have some room in that one to pitch if you want to pitch, as well as April. Organizers at A2 New Tech if you are interested in pitching or know someone that might be. And that's all we got. We'll see you at Pizza House, and enjoy the rest of your February. Cheers. Yeah, you bet. Good. I did.